Hello lovely people and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be doing a short practice working with the idea of opening the throat, and also we're going to be making some sounds. So it's really good for communication and for really learning how to speak impeccably. Just through doing the postures it can really help to wake up this area, the area of the throat and the shoulders and the face, of where we are trying to be really clear in the way that we communicate. So I'm going to be working with some props today. I'm actually going to work at one point with this, which is my bolster. So if you have one of those, it would be good to have. If you haven't, you can just use a block or some books, or you could even get a blanket and fold it up and use that. So get your things together and then we will get started. So we're going to begin by closing the eyes or lowering the gaze and bringing the awareness into the nose, just gently inviting the cool air to move in through the nose and the warm air to move out, grounding down through your sit bones, sitting up nice and tall, imagining a thread pulling you up from the crown chakra. And we're just focusing on breathing gently in and out through the nose. And I'm going to invite that you begin to bring the image of a blue light into your throat. So if you're not very good at visual stuff, you can just know that it's there. So we're just breathing gently through the nose and having an image or an intention of a blue light shining brightly in the throat. So we're going to just start with some head rolls because this gets the neck going. But we're going to just begin by just taking the head over to one side, and then we can just make a half moon shape as we go down to the front and come up the other side. We'll go back that way again and back again. But this time when you get to the other side, we're going to carry on round, but don't crank the head backwards. Be gentle with your neck, be aware of what's happening. And we'll come all the way to the front and then we'll go all the way back round. So just being sensitive with the back of your neck, because obviously the bones in the back of the neck are very, very delicate. We have to be careful. Beautiful. So then we're gonna just drop the head over to one side, bring the arm up and over and put the hand onto the top here and just let the weight of the head drop down. So you're feeling this lovely opening of the side of the neck. Couple of breaths there. And then we'll do it on the other side. So take the head down the other way and exhaling, dropping down. Beautiful, letting the weight of that arm and hand drop the head down. Wonderful, so we're going to come and lie on the back now. So I'm going to use my bolster now. I'm going to get onto the bolster and put my head, so I've got my shoulders here and I'm going to put my head down onto the block. So that could be a book if you haven't got, and this could be some blankets that have been folded up or cushions or whatever. Just see if you can make yourself something a bit like this. So I'm going to drop myself down. So I've got my shoulders at the end of the block, and then I'm going to drop my head down onto the block. I'm going to have my arms out to the side with the palms facing up. So you can either keep your feet like this, if you like. What this is doing is it's opening the chest here, but it's also opening the throat, you see. And then from here, so you can either stay like this with your knees bent, or you can take your legs out long like this, and then it becomes a beautiful, lovely stretch over the whole of the front of the body. arms out to the sides. Just let the feet flop, or if they're out like this, or let them just stay up. Let your knees stay up if you've got your knees bent. And we're just going to breathe here. We're just going to try and drop the head, opening the neck. Just breathing here for a few breaths and allowing the body to drop. So I'm going to invite you, if you want to take a big breath in, and on the exhale we're going to take the sound hum. So this is H-U-M. We'll do another one of those. And then just see if you can relax a little bit more. Let the arms just drop down, let the legs drop down if they're out long like this. Feel the throat opening, the chest opening, expanding the organs of sound. So we need the lungs to make sound, and we also need the throat. Wonderful. So we can now lift your legs up if they're not. I'm going to roll off my bolster, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the everything off the mat that's on there, put it down to one side, and we're going to come and lie back down in semi-supine. So we've got the heels behind the bottom. I'm going to invite you to bring the arms out long, along shoulder height like this, and we're going to roll on the knees, coming over to one side and look over the other arm. Just let the legs flop down, and then we'll bring the knees back up to the top and going the other way. Beautiful. So you can either just do this again, or you can bring the knees back up to the top, cross the right leg, or whichever one you're doing, over the left, and then drop the knees down, and you'll feel that this is a much stronger twist. So my other shoulder actually comes off the ground, but it's okay as long as I'm careful and I'm not like hurting myself. It's all right. So this is a much stronger twist, and then we'll come back up to the top, and if you're doing the crosses, then uncross the legs, cross them the other way, and scoot the knees down, looking over the opposite arm. Beautiful. And then rolling back up and coming back to semi-supine. So we're going to roll over to one side and come up to kneeling now. We're going to do a little bit of cat, and I've just decided, having been to a workshop this weekend that I really enjoyed, I've decided to stop calling this exercise cat and cow, because I was told by a very experienced teacher that it always just used to be cat, and then when new people came in, you know, whenever it was, they started calling the bit where you go down like this, they started calling that cow. But actually what she was explaining to me, this teacher, is that actually what cows do is they're just dropping. You know, their udders drop, but also their bellies are just like, and that is not what we're trying to do. So she was saying, stay with the feline energy and think about when you're doing this, looking forwards and taking the spine down. Instead of going, well, I'm taking the spine down, think about breathing in and bringing the chest forward, and that's almost like a proud cat here. And then we can come through to the angry cat that's raising, arching up to the ceiling and looking between the knees. So we can do that. So proud cat, this could be like a proud lion, shining the chest forwards. And then exhale, angry cat. So we'll do one more of those each way. Think about the shoulder, the collarbones really shining forwards here. Beautiful. So from here, we're going to come back and sit back on the heels, keeping the arms out. The arms might need to slip back a little bit. And then from here, we're going to come forward, slide the fingers forward a little bit. And then we're going to see if we can, so we're bending the elbows, seeing if you can keep the chest low. And we're going to come up to a hanging cobra. So we're doing the same thing like we were doing, only it's a bit more intense. So we're shining the chest forward, looking through, opening the throat as we come through. And then as we exhale, we're lifting the bottom, bringing the chest through, sliding the hands down a little bit as you come back into the child. So we'll do that a few more times. Inhaling, chest to the floor, coming through, shining the throat and the chest forwards. Exhaling, lifting the bottom, bringing the chest down and through. Inhaling, coming through, shining forwards. Exhaling, lifting the bottom, chest coming low. Beautiful. Last time, we'll go forwards on the exhale. See if you can keep the chest really low as you come forwards, shining the chest and the throat forwards. Exhaling, bending the elbows, lifting the bottom, bringing the chest back through. And then we can widen the legs, the knees here, and drop down into the child. So you can have the hands under the forehead, or you can have the arms out behind and the head down on the ground. So we're going to do something a bit interesting and a bit unusual here. Now I'm going to sit on my bolster to do this. You might decide to even to do it in a chair if you want to, or you can do it on some cushions. The reason that I do it is because we do this from kneeling, but kneeling can be a bit difficult for some people with the feet. So if sitting on a bolster, and you can even have another block underneath to bring you up higher, if that works well, then that's good. So find a nice comfortable place. And we're going to do what's called lion's breath here. So this is a really amazing way of opening the throat, opening the face, and we're also imagining ourselves as lions with great big claws. So we're going to make a lion's roar out of the mouth. We're going to widen the eyes and open the whole face, and at the same time we're going to slide the hands down and sending our claws forward like this and coming forward. So I'll just do it once on my own and then you can do it with me. So just watch the first time. So we breathe in through the nose. So you can do it with me now, breathing in through the nose. Couple more times, breathing in. Last time. And then come back and just sit quietly, just put your hands gently on your legs, close the eyes or lower the gaze, and just sit and be aware of the feel of what's going on after doing that practice. Lovely, so we're going to come up to the dog now. So starting off in all fours, okay, we're going to tuck the toes, lifting up the hips, but keeping the knees really nice and bent here. And we're going to sit, in fact what's really good is to come up right onto the tiptoes. See how high you can lift up the bottom, and then keeping the knees bent, see if you can drop the heels down. I've got my arms as straight as I can, and I'm seeing if I can drop the shoulders down. Now What's really good is to try and see if in this position, if you can widen the shoulders a little bit. And you can do that by almost rotating the shoulders out a little bit. So rotating them under and out to broaden the shoulders a little bit. Beautiful. So if at any point this becomes too much, just come and rest. But if you're happy here, we're going to take a little bit of walking the dog. So one heel down, bend the other knee, and vice versa for a few times. See if you can keep the head relaxed, dropping the head, dropping the shoulders down. Beautiful. And then we'll come to a little bit of stillness, just enjoying a moment in this beautiful pose that is so good for all parts of the body. So everybody come and rest down. Take a moment here to give your palms a little bit of a rest, give them a little bit of a massage. So we're going to come up to the dog again, and then we're going to come through into the plank. Now if this just feels too much for you, you can stick with the dog, or you can even just stay down here doing some of your cat ones. But if you want to join me in the dog, tucking the toes, raising up into the dog, we're going to take a moment here to just see if we can drop everything down, see if we can open the shoulders a little bit, the back of the shoulders. And then what we're going to do is we're going to walk the hands a little bit further forwards, and then we're going to see if we can come into the plank here. And we're looking down. See if you can open the throat here. So we're trying to be really flat here. So we've got to try not to have your bottom sticking up. See if you can have a flat line from here. And now you can either put your knees down and then come down. This is really strengthening for the arms. Or if you want to give it a go, to keep the knees up and drop down gently. Beautiful. And then we're going to take the feet out to the sides, just dropping the toes out to the sides, bringing the hands underneath the head, and we're going to rock the pelvis from side to side, having a nice rest, and we can take a big sigh out here. So from here we're going to roll over, and we're going to come and do a couple of bridge poses. But we're going to do it slightly differently to how I normally do it. So I'm going to use my soft block here. It's a nice squidgy block. If you haven't got one of those, then use a blanket that you've folded up so it makes it about that width. And we're going to put the blanket, we're going to put the block down on the mat there. So I'm going to come and try and lie down so that I've got my shoulders just up, just so they're just on the block, not over the top of the block, but just on the block there. Okay, and then when I put my head down, it's a bit like what we did earlier with the bolster underneath, but it's not so high. So I've got my head just dropping back down there. This is nice, so it keeps the throat open. So the idea is that when we do our bridge, the throat is going to stay open. Hands down by the sides of the body. Feet directly behind the hips. Knees staying in at the same, so they're not splaying out like this, so they stay like that the whole time. And then we're going to inhale, and then exhale, dropping the lumbar spine to the ground, curling up the tailbone, pressing into the feet on the inhale, and rising up. So this is such a beautiful way of doing the bridge, because I can feel it that my throat is still really beautifully open here. And then as I come down, I'm going to do that hum again, so you can join me if you want to. Breathing in. Hum. So we can take a resting breath here, and then exhale, taking the lumbar spine to the ground. Inhale, curling up, raising up the tailbone, and then hum down again. Hum. once more. So exhaling, lumbar spine down, inhaling, raising up the hips. And then we can just take a moment, take the feet out, take the arms out to the side. So we're just doing a very similar thing that we did before, just having a little rest here. So from here we're going to do one last thing before we come up to standing. So get your block out of the way. We're going to come up to a sitting position like this, and we're going to have the hands, you can either have them out like that or out in like this. Feet hip width apart, and we're just going to gently lifting the hips, so you don't have to lift them very far, just lift them to where they'll go, and then gently drop the head backwards, opening the throat. So this is reverse tabletop, and then dropping that back down again, and we can just take a little shake out with the legs. Beautiful. So we're going to come up to standing now, so meet me in your Tadasana. So looking down at your feet, making sure they're hip width apart, rolling the shoulders back, wiggling the arms. We'll take a moment here, looking slightly downwards. Wonderful. And then we're going to do a little bit of chanting here, and we're going to do it with Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. So coming to the middle of the mat, facing the short edge, we'll take 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. It doesn't really matter which one you do. And making sure you're on a nice wide stance here, so you've got a solid ground. And you've got the front leg bent. We're going to inhale, raising the arms up. Make sure you can see your big toe in front of your knee. So we're doing that on the inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to do that same hum that we were doing before, but we're going to open to Warrior 2. So breathing in. And then we breathe in and come back to Warrior 1, and we'll do it twice more. Looking along the front arm, inhaling, coming back. Beautiful. So we'll come and do it on the other side. So facing the short edge again, other leg forward, and bent front knee, raising the arms up into your Warrior 1 pose, making sure you can just see your big toenail. Inhaling. Last one here. Wonderful. So we're going to come and do some breathing now. So I'm using my bolster again to be really comfortable here. You can be on a chair, or you can be sitting cross-legged, or just doing whatever feels right for you. Well, I'm going to actually work with the breathing with you this time. I don't normally do it on the videos, but I'm going to this time. We're actually going to do the breathing together because we're doing something slightly different this week. So we're going to still work with the box breath that we've been working with on the last few of the videos, but we're going to also work with the B breath, which is the Brahmari breath. So you can just simply have your hands down like this and just work with the breath without your hands, but if you want to include the hand gesture on the ears, you can. So if you put, just to so you know what I'm talking about, if you put your finger up onto the side of your ear there, and you've got this sort of hard flappy bit that goes across the front of the ear there, if you put your finger on that and push it in, it covers the whole of the ear, it covers it beautifully. It's exactly the right size to cover that. So you're not sticking your fingers into your ears. You're pressing that piece, that flap over to close the hole. So if you want to do that, you can do that with both fingers. Some people do it with the thumbs and then cover their eyes as well. You can do that if you want to, but that's not what I'm doing today. And so what you do is you close that over, but don't do it yet because you need to hear what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say that we're going to do the bee breath, which is humming, but I'm going to specifically give you the instruction that to lick your lips and to make sure that when you hum that you have your teeth just very slightly apart. And what that means is that you'll be able to really feel the vibration of the bees on your lips. So if your lips begin to dry off and you start to not feel it anymore, then when you're breathing in, you can just give your lips another bit of a lick, okay? So we're going to work with the box breath, which is where we're going to just breathe in and for a count, which is either 4 or 6 or 8. So just breathing in for that count. We're going to hold the breath at the top for half of that count if you want to do that. And then when we exhale, that's when we're going to cover the flap and we're going to hum. So like this. Take your hands down. So that's just to get a sense of what that's going to feel like. And then if you want to hold the breath for half of so the exhale is the same count as the inhale, by the way, I didn't say that. And if you want to hold the breath for half of the exhale, then you can do that as well. So you're breathing in. Sometimes people try and breathe in with the Brahmari breath as well, but we're not doing that. We're just doing it on the exhale. So if you want to do that, then you can join me. So breathing in to begin. Doing your attention there. Beautiful. So we do the last breath here. So I'm going to invite you to get your stuff out of the way and we'll do a couple of counter poses before we come down to the relaxation. So we're going to sit in our staff pose here, Dandasana, for a moment. And then I'm going to invite you just to bend one leg, it doesn't really matter which one you do. Take the opposite hand around that leg and the other one out behind. Breathing in here. And we're just going to exhale into the twist. Take a couple of breaths there. And then we'll come round and do it on the other side. So bending the other leg, taking this arm round. And then we'll come back to the centre, sitting up nice and tall with the toes coming towards you. And we're just going to come into a very gentle forward fold, so you don't have to go far. You can always bend the knees if you want to. And just letting the weight of the head drop. And then finally, to finish the asanas, we're going to drop down, and I'm going to invite you just to bring the hands onto the backs of the knees here, and taking a modified happy baby here and just rocking around from side to side. Lovely. And then dropping back down, we're going to come into our Shavasana. So feet about mat width apart, hands down by the sides. Just let the feet flop out to the sides or do whatever it is they do. And then just taking some nice deep breaths here. And then just dropping down into your natural breath. So please stay here as long as you like. Don't move just because I am. Shavasana is the most important part of the practice. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you've enjoyed the practice, then do please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not. If you'd like to make a donation, then you can contact me via the email at the beginning and the end of the video. Thank you so much for your support. Namaste.